with regard to Teams and YouTube. We're going to go ahead and call the meeting to order. Let the record reflect a starting time of 3:30. Also, that all committee members are present. Takes us to the meeting minutes for September 25th. Councilman Brown.
Make a motion to approve meeting minutes as is.
All right, there's a motion on the floor. Further discussion? Seeing and hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. That takes us to public comment on agenda items. Do we have anybody online?
We have a Brent Wheeler.
Brent Wheeler? Okay. So we are going to give folks at this point, if they want to speak to any of the agenda items, but they are not going to be able to actually stick through the meeting in terms of when we present on and discuss the respective agenda items. We'll give folks up to 3 minutes at this time. Brent, I know that we communicated with you. I'm sure you can hear us. Did you want to provide public comment at this time?
No, I don't need to.
Could you repeat that one time for me?
No, I don't need to provide anything else unless you have questions.
Fantastic. We appreciate you being here as a resource. Seeing no other public comment, we will move on to discussion action item 5B. This is an ordinance Z1 2024, the address at 3724 Pleasant Grove Road. This would be a rezone from R3 suburban residential to MFR multifamily residential district. Just a quick recap. This would, purpose of the rezone would be to facilitate the building of 2 5-unit row homes. This would be a 3, or I should say each one of those row homes would be 3-bedroom units. Being proposed are 25 parking spots on site. There is an existing single family home. So again, this is immediately south of the maintenance and alarm division. They're actually building Pleasant Grove. So in any event, the existing single family home there would be demolished to allow for construction. We did have Mr. Brent Wheeler, and again, appreciating him being here today, but we did have him in, let's see, I guess the dates here. We actually had him in virtually at our Development and Planning Committee on August 28th. He was physically present at our council meeting on September 9th, and that's when we actually introduced and established a public hearing. And then we had the public hearing September 30th. So this really is our last look in committee. So if there are questions, concerns, I can certainly work to address those. I also have the applicant questions or concerns at this time.
I would say no questions or concerns for me. I think you guys laid it out pretty well during the public period for that at council, and planning commission is supportive. So
I would, I guess, concur with Councilman Carr's to just move it.
All right, we would need a motion then, folks.
Motion.
There's a motion on the floor for the discussion. Seeing and hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries, and we'll take a look at this in front of council for final consideration on October 14th. All right, fantastic. All right, Brent, I'm sure you heard what happened. So we are actually going to take this up for final consideration in front of City Council on the 14th at 7 p.m. 10th floor of City Hall. Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Yep, not a problem. All right, that takes us to, agenda item C. This is the resolution to set a public hearing on SLU 1 2024 state license adult foster care small group home at 1950 North Waverly Road. My understanding is you are here to speak to this.
I am.
Do you want to join us at the table?
I would love to.
That's completely acceptable. Yeah, we appreciate you.
Thank
And for the record, what is your first and last name?
Karen Dietrich, and I'm the realtor.
Or the realtor?
Yeah, I'm not the owner of the home.
Okay, so you're the, okay, got it. So you work for that. So those are your clients. Okay. All right, Mr. Fenimore, if you want to start.
Yes. As you said, this is a special land use permit application.
Hold on, see, now you're both.
It's Peter.
Sorry, Mr. Fiedel.
Yes.
Go ahead.
I wasn't going to say anything. For an adult foster care facility for 12 residents. The home currently operates as an adult foster care facility with 6 residents, which is a permitted land use in all residential districts per state of Michigan law. So I spoke to Sue Satchwick, the zoning administrator. Sorry, let me put that pin in there for a second. To accommodate the increase in the number of residents, the applicants are proposing to build a house addition of 770 square feet, which would have 3 bedrooms, a bathroom, and a living room. I got that correct. And on the, I believe the last page of the materials has the rendering of what that would look like. So my point with asking Sue, the zoning administrator, has she seen, because she was out on leave at this time, so I kind of filled in for her. I asked her if she had seen many like this or in the past. So you might remember 109 Randolph last year. That was an old convent that really didn't have a lot of use because it was 17 bedrooms, kind of unusual. She said that she couldn't remember any in recent memory, either for up to 12 residents or proposing a house addition. Through my staff report, we looked at the location of this on the far north end. It's right on the border with, we have the applicants with us now.
Come on in. Yeah, take a seat with us at the table, please. Sorry. Appreciate you being here.
Yeah, it's on the border with Delta Township. There's a large wooded lot to the west, the river's to the east.
Right.
So it's kind of on the edge of town. State of Michigan law and city of Lansing law says that no more than 2 of these can be within 1,500 feet with each other. I looked everywhere in this neighborhood. There's not another facility of 12 residents. So we did recommend approval based on the criteria that we look at. During public hearing at Planning Commission, 2 neighbors did speak with some concerns. It was mostly centered on a lack of communication with the applicants, with if they have concerns or also this application. And then they also referenced that they believe there have been police calls since it was licensed in December 2022. So based on those concerns, they wanted a little bit more information, so they tabled it and then asked staff to see if they could find out anything. We looked into Lara. They have publicly available reports, the original license, the relicensure, and there was a violation investigation. It was asserted that the residents were being locked out of the facility either accidentally or what have you, something happened. And I'll let the applicant speak to more of the operations of their residents. So Lara did a unannounced site visit. They interviewed the applicants and 4 residents that were on site at the time. They didn't find anything. They didn't substantiate it. To the best of my knowledge, they cleared it. And so those are the reports that I responded or gave.
There was some discovery of improper storage during the medication.
Yes, excuse me, yes. There was also, yes, over the counter, but I mean, I can't.
Okay.
I'll let the applicant speak more to that during that investigation report. And then also we asked the Lansing Police Department if they had responded to calls at this address, and they responded with 23 since January 2023. We didn't ask for any details. We didn't really get into that. We didn't get into it out of respect for privacy. So we don't really know the nature of those calls, but 23 is quite a bit. And that's kind of what Planning Commission ultimately rested their recommendation for denial of the lack of communication or perceived lack of communication between neighbors. There wasn't really, they weren't presented a system of how our concerns responded to. I don't believe they were presented a staff report because they would need new staffing for the increase of residents, and then the police calls. So that's ultimately where they ended with a 5-to-1 recommended denial, and there's 1 person absent.
Fantastic. Councilman Brown.
Thank you so much. Thank you all for being here today. Who is the license administrator of this current facility? Both of you are the.
Can you state your names for the record, please? First and last.
My name is Katama.
Did you both sign in?
We do not.
Okay, so before you leave, make sure you sign in. Thank you so much. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, thank you. It's a little hard to hear to with the here. So you guys are the licensed administrators, and you currently, what type of license facility is this?
AFC license, adult foster care license, with a capacity of 6 residents.
What is your, do you have a specialty license?
Yeah, we have specialty license from the Lara. Lara is the one who can give us the license for 2 years. First, they gave us 6 months license, and then they renew for 2 years. Now, the license will go until next year.
And so that's for the facility.
Yes.
What is the license of service delivery?
I mean, just this FC Homes accept residents. We have a connection with CMH, Community Mental Health.
Okay, so do you have a developmental disability license?
Yes.
So what is your specialty license? What population are you
Oh,
authorized to serve?
for aged, mentally ill, and developmentally disabled, for 3 categories. Developmentally disabled, mentally ill, and late.
What is the name of that license?
Asthma AFC.
The name Asmed AZMED, Asmed AFC.
I'm sorry, could you say?
AZMED,
Asmed.
AZMED,
AZ.
Asmed, AFC, and Asmed AFC.
That's the name of the license?
Yes.
So CMH CEI, or is that a different CMH?
CEI.
When did you guys start providing services?
2022.
2022. And what is your current, I know you're licensed for 6, how many occupants do you have?
Right, now, five.
Right now, 5. The capacity is 6 right now.
And why are you now trying to make it 12 from 6?
We have space, we have very spacey front yard
Land.
and very spacey land.
What about the property or the, I guess, to serve the people? Because you have more land, you're saying you want to add more people?
Yes, that is
So,
Ola.
sorry,
That is Ola.
okay. So here I see it's 770 square feet you're trying to add. Add 3 bedrooms, to add 6 people with severe disabilities.
Yeah, yes, it depends on, but we have to, we can accept in 3 categories: mentally ill, developmentally disabled, and aged. So either of the categories, we are the one who decides, okay, this resident fits with our current residents, so we can choose, we decide which one to accept.
Right, so
But before, when we started, that is why he got a lot of call. We didn't know, and then the client kept calling for support is by her cell phone. That is why, but now we know what kind of residence we will choose.
right, so the CMH would send the individuals to
Yes.
you. Disabilities, and you can accept or deny the individuals living there. An individual receiving services, from my understanding, from community mental health, even if they're aged, they might not qualify for service. So if you have an individual who's considered a senior at 60 years old, and they don't have need of assistance with activities of daily living, that would not qualify them for this type of specialized adult foster care. They would have additional needs as well as be aged. Would that be correct?
Yes, yes, usually just we deliver medication. These are mainly the one we had. All of them have mentally disabled, mental problems.
So you're providing 24-hour
Yes,
community
Yes.
support, residential. And so individuals who, in my experience, who have significant disabilities who would qualify for the type of license you have, as far as facility as well as the service delivery, my concern would be 700 square feet for 6 people. So is that, do you guys have that mapped out in the license? People said that would be significant, sufficient? That seems quite a bit. That's about a size of a 1-bedroom apartment.
Laura, they have
Specific
categories, specific window sizes, door sizes, room sizes, even the bedding size, the bathroom size.
Correct. So
And they have a specification. Unless otherwise, we feel full that requirement Lara will not allow us a license. They have specific age measurements for everything.
Correct, so that meets the minimum requirements is what you're saying? Because I know that can't be the maximum requirements. So that's the minimum.
It's the
requirement.
minimum, and it would be handicap accessible. So hallways and the doors would be just fine.
I would assume to get a facility license, everything would have to be ADA
Yeah,
accessible,
and
right?
bedrooms have to, yes. The bedrooms have to be
Because they're shaking their head, yes.
No, they have to be a certain size, but it doesn't have to be ADA. So for example, if an individual has a wheelchair,
Right.
they just won't accept them if they don't accessible. But they do have size requirements, so this would meet the size requirements. And my other question would be, if you have residents, you're saying you weren't aware of the type of individuals, who is actually managing, the individuals? Managing their care?
It's all between me, my husband, and
Well, that was one of the concerns, Mr. Brown, was one of the concerns that the planning commission had, because to essentially meet and comport with our requirements, they would have to have a staffing plan, they'd have to add staff. Because they have, I believe, have one person, is this correct? One employee per 6 residents at all times, and it's just the 2. So you would have to hire.
Oh, you have no staff?
yes,
They are.
You do, how many staff do you have now?
we are hiring now.
How many staff do you have now?
We're running the city
I
right now.
used to work spare hospital, I'm not working anymore. I used to work 25
So I'm
years.
saying, how many staff do you have now?
Right now, just me and my husband.
Okay, I don't feel comfortable with that. That operation with expanding to 12 people if you only have, if you have 5 people now, you have no staff, that's a concern, for me as far as.
No, if it is 12 people, 2 staff.
Yes, and I understand, but that would be a concern. I think that might get out of control with having double the amount of people and only 2 staff with people with significant disabilities. So I'm sure that's maybe why the person was calling, because, it can be hard to manage, people with significant disabilities in a small environment, with limited staff. Thank you for answering my questions. I really appreciate it.
But
Yep, sorry, go ahead. You have something to add?
But all the time, our house is 24 hours under supervision. Somebody has to be, a staff has to be at home day and night. That's the requirement. The staff has to be at home day and night.
we are watching them 24/7.
Yes, but just like, and I'm aware of that, but just like with employment law, where usually, an individual on a job can't work 90 hours a week because it could be unsafe. So even though you have somebody there, if you're there 18 hours for 5, 7, 10 days in a row because you're not able to leave, that's a concern.
No, my daughter, she can cover too, but once a while, but he's working part-time. I work full-time in that house. So even for 60 people, that's LARA requirement is 1 person. And then we are hiring now too.
All right, thank you.
Yeah,
No, and we appreciate
we
that.
did hire.
So with regard to the plan, with regard to your application, you don't have anything to add for this committee to consider?
What do you think?
So with regard to the plan, in your application, is there anything else we need to consider? Or you would like us to consider?
So, if we get the permit to build, stand, then we'll go back to Lara. That will inform our intention to Lara, even to CMH as well. Right. Our house is supervised like bird eye view. CMH, Lara is supervising it. All the time, every resident have their own case managers. Their case managers can come anytime, supervise how their bedrooms, how they feed, how they relax, everything. They are controlling like a bird eye view, their medications, but delivering medications on time, timely manner. So if we get this building permit, we'll go back to CMH and Lara. The Lara is the one who can approve. Sometimes we build the house, Lara come and measure everything. They may say no.
Councilman Garza.
2 questions. What's the current square feet of the house right now?
1630.
1630? Okay, 17.
Okay. Now, did I hear you correctly, that you haven't reached out to Laura to see if there would be approval of this addition?
Yes. No, yes.
So doesn't that seem, I don't know, I don't know how this works, but
Typically, it seems like we want to reach out to Laura to see if you can even do this before you trying to pull a permit for an addition.
First we have to get the permit, the building permit. Then we submit our plan to Lara. We know the specification, we have a bunch of, follow every age to build the house, we just will deliver to the person who's going to build this house. And where at the end, Lara is the one who inspect our house, inspect every specific requirements, then
And I understand that, I didn't mean to cut you off, I just thought that, you know, you would submit the plans, Laura, hey, would you approve of us adding 6 more, additional, patients to this house? If they say no, what's the point of, going through, getting permits and others?
Before we start the building, we have to ask if they said okay, and then if you said okay, we will.
and then even if they say no,
If they
they will
say
tell
no.
us what. Oh, this room has to be this, number has to be increased or something. They will comment us. They will comment this. They will not simply deny. They will tell us what to correct.
So Mr. Fedawasa, they would have site plan approval, and then they would have a general construction permit, right? That's what they would take to Laura?
They won't have site plan approval because it's a single family house.
Okay,
But they would still have their building permit.
right.
What would be
That's
verified
what
by
they
the
would take
zoning.
in hand to Laura.
I don't know their process for that, but
Right.
They would
That's
have
what it
to
sounds like.
yeah.
Okay, I just want to make sure Mr. Garza understands what they actually need in hand, what they're saying they need in hand to go to Laura. I want to address real quick as he's looking over his notes, do you want to address some of the concerns that were discussed as part of the planning commission? There were concerns with regards to calls for service, 23 calls for service, regards to the Lansing Police Department.
She moved out already.
We had a
Was that one?
Yes.
That was due to one
she's
person?
very young resident. She came from, she had been homeless,
Sure.
and then Lara was just brought to us. We accepted her. She has bipolar. She has schizophrenia, and she has every mental problems. She was just she was used to be something. She used to call whenever she said something in her head, call 911 all the time. Everybody has their own cell phones. They have the right to go out, to go in any time. But she was the one visit. We had a problem for sure with her. Now she's already out. She moved out.
Okay. Has there been any work to engage? It seemed like some of the issue that was discussed at the planning commission was that there, there's this lack of outreach in terms of the community. Have you done anything to engage the neighbors in that area?
She came. Lara was- And then she figured out, she asked residences, and then she didn't figure out nothing, and then no one's locked out. That is why she closed the case. But she came from Nara, so no one's locked out.
I think one of the concerns is when something like that happens, because you are dealing with a vulnerable population, if they, as an example, end up at somebody's door, they contact, right? And so I think it's critical that you guys are talking to neighbors. Do we have any other questions?
I don't believe so.
So what we're looking to do is to establish a public hearing. It would actually be, go out in front of council to set that public hearing the 14th, but we're going to set it until November 28th. Because of notice requirements. I'm sorry, November 18th. Because of notice requirements. So that is the ask in front of this body.
Well, I'll make a motion.
There you go. All right, there's a motion on the floor. Again, that to B, to establish public hearing November 18th. Further discussion? Questions? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Nay. Motion carries. Okay, so we will kick this out in front of council on the 14th. Okay. Typically, you know how we do. When we have we're establishing a public hearing, we really like the department and the applicants to be there. I think there's going to be particularly, we don't see, it's not every day we see planning commission vote one of these down. And the fact that they voted this down and the fact that there are some concerns baked into this narrative here, I think there's going to be a lot of questions. So I think it would behoove you to be there. on the 14th, 7 p.m. right here. Okay. All right. Is there any other business before the body? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Carried. I'm sorry.
I'll make sure I send you the agenda. and all.
Like,
Too many
we're
different
doing that.
boards, too many boards, and too many rules.